Hi guys, thanks for stopping by my channel. And today I'm going to give you a review on the Debbie Meyer's green boxes. If you look online or if you've done any research like I did, the reviews are kind of all over the place. There's a lot of reviews that are great. Some of the reviews are not so great. Some of them are pretty bad. So I really wasn't sure what to expect. So I decided if they work, fabulous, and if not, so be it. At least I learned. So I want to share with you my experience of how they work, the Debbie Meyer green boxes. So at first glance, they look like a regular plastic container. I noticed that they do have this lip on the lid, if you can see it right there. Apparently in some of the older reviews, the lids were really, really hard to get off and on, especially off. And people really complained about it. So maybe that's why they added this little tab. Although it doesn't feel real sturdy, but it definitely is easier to get the lid on and off, I guess, than maybe the ones in the past. But anyway, so at first glance, you look at it, looks like a regular plastic container. And if you compare it with your regular plastic containers, like I have the Ziploc disposable one, and honestly, they look the same, they feel the same, they're both plastic. If anything, this feels a little bit heavier than this one. So you think to yourself, well, why is this gonna work? So there's something in the Debbie Meyer green boxes and green bags called zeolite, and it works with the ethylene gas that is distributed, and apparently it helps to keep it from spoiling, whether it's fruits, vegetables, baked goods, that sort of thing. So I thought, you know what, they're patented. They look like they really work when you watch them on TV, but I wanted to find out for myself and give you guys an honest to goodness, truthful review. Okay, so I'm gonna just dive right into it. We're gonna go through my science experiments, and I'm gonna show you what I found out about the Debbie Meyer's green boxes. And by the way, I'm having a really bad allergy eye today, so that's why the glasses. Let's get started. So my first experiment is going to be with bananas. I bought a nice batch of bananas, both the same ripeness. I put 2 of them in the Debbie Meyer's green box, and I left the other 2 on the counter. And bananas, as you know, are probably going to go ripe really quick. And if you don't eat them within the first few days, they really start to get brown and spotted and kind of nasty. So this is after 7 days. My bananas were definitely overripe, and the ones on the counter had a lot of brown spots, but the ones in the box looked a little bit better. I thought maybe they fared a little bit better, but upon closer investigation, the ones in the box were pretty darn mushy. And then after I reached in and flipped them over, I saw that the back of them were really badly bruised and really badly browned. And so the ones in the green boxes did not fare any better than the ones that were sitting out on the counter. So it looks like I'm going to be making yet another batch of banana bread. But the bananas in the green box, they just didn't fare any better than the ones that were on the counter. And then my next experiment is with avocado. A lot of times I'll bring an avocado home and I'll cut it in half, and I'll eat half of it and put the other half in the fridge. And then after maybe a day or so, it'll start to brown. So I decided to do the same experiment. I'm going to cut it in half. I put one in a plastic Ziploc, and I put one in the Debbie Meyer's green box. Put them both in the fridge, and the same amount of time. And I guess it was about 3 days later, both of them looked exactly the same. The one in the Debbie Meyer green box didn't fare any better than the one that was in the Ziploc bag, which I do want to say that when you cut open a fruit or vegetable and then put it in the Debbie Meyer green box, it's not going to stay fresh. You do need to, if you're going to try to do it that way, you got to put the vegetable in there whole. But when you cut it, this is kind of what happens. And then I took a bag of green lettuce from the supermarket, and I decided to do a little experiment with that. The lettuce was in a bag, so it wasn't fresh cut. I don't know if they wash it before they put it in the bag, but it was dry when I put it in the Debbie Meyer green box. And I wanted to see if it would fare any better than if I just left it in the bag. So after about 5 days, this is what I had, which was a mess of brown edged salad, which was not very edible. I do want to talk at this point about the condensation problem with the Debbie Myers green boxes. I had some little baby cucumbers that I put in here, and after about 7 days, the condensation got so bad you see a little puddle of water on the bottom there. The cucumbers themselves got pretty slimy. So if you're going to be using your Debbie Meyer green boxes and you have this condensation problem, you have to go in there every couple of days, wipe it out with a paper towel, keep it dry, and your veggies will last a little longer. But if not, this condensation can really be an issue. So then my next was with the cherries that are in season now. Got a nice big bag of cherries, and I'd like to leave them on the counter so we can eat them, but then the ones on the bottom will get a little bit brown and won't be as appetizing. So I took half of the cherries and I put them in a bowl on the counter, and I took the other half and put them in the green box and put them in the fridge, so that when we were through eating the ones in the bowl, I could take out the ones that were in the green box and put those in the bowl. And this experiment went pretty well. The Debbie Meyer green box, the cherries were nice and crisp and cool and delicious after about a week. But I will say that I've done it in just using regular plastic boxes and had pretty much the same results. So, but at least there was not a lot of condensation and nastiness. They did keep them pretty fresh in the fridge. Then I went on to baked goods, and I made a batch of oatmeal raisin cookies. And usually with oatmeal raisin cookies fresh out of the oven, they're really good and nice and soft and chewy. But after several days, they get hard. They're still good, but they're just hard. So I decided to do the Debbie Meyer green box with my oatmeal raisin cookies. So I tossed them into the green box and left them on my counter. And after a good 7 days, these cookies were still nice and soft. So I was very happy with the baked goods in the Debbie Meyer green box. The cookies were still delicious. And if you put your bread in the Debbie Meyer's green box, it does keep your bread fresher longer. So it did pretty well with the baked goods. I will mention that I did a little experiment with my baby carrots, and as long as I went in there and wiped out the condensation, the carrots would last me a good 2 weeks before I would show any sign of it going, not looking good. My final experiment is with tomatoes on the vine that I bought at the supermarket, and they were nice and fresh. When I took them home, I put them in the Debbie Meyer green box. This is the after, not the before. And this is what happened after 5 days. They started to grow a really nasty mold on the stems, not on the tomato, but on the stems. So that was very unappetizing, and I did take them out of the green box and ripped off the stems and then just put them out on the counter. And don't think I'd use these for tomatoes either. So there you have it. There's my review on the Debbie Meyer green boxes. Ultimately, I'm going to give it maybe 1 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down, because baked goods you may get some extra life out of, but honestly, for me, I don't think it was worth $20 for 32 pieces, which is what I paid for on Amazon. I'm going to check my purchase date, and if I bought them within 30 days, I may return them, but if it's after the 30-day period, I just may keep them, store stuff in them, and lesson learned. So that's what I think of Debbie Meyer's green boxes. So if you think this video was helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Posting videos at least once a week, sometimes more, and love you to join our community. So everyone, please stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next go round. Bye.